Using the information presented in Exhibit 4, giving right to this right of the screen, the quick ratio for SAP group. Quick ratio. Quick ratio takes in cash, financial assets, trade receivables, cash and cash equivalents, yes. Other financial assets, yes. This one also. When it says non-financial assets, definitely they are talking about inventories and prepayments. They must be excluded. Tax assets also are irrelevant and not likely to be considered as current assets. So it's 4011, 990 and 5899. Divided with the current liability, and current liability is given here as 10,210. So adding all these up in the numerator, dividing with 10,210, your quick assets have been considered, excluding the others that are not likely to be converted into cash. Non-financial assets and tax assets has been removed, not likely to be converted into cash. So taking your quick assets, dividing with the current liability gives you 1.067, which is approximately 1.07. That makes B to be the correct option. Next, using the same data, or I think it's Exhibit 14, the financial leverage ratio for this company in December 2017. Financial leverage is equal to total assets upon total equity. We'll discuss in our ratio analysis in detail in a separate reading. So we didn't discuss this formula in today's reading, but nonetheless, all these readings are to be done simultaneously. Things missing here and there, they will level out in the future. So total assets upon total equity. Total assets, look at this for 2017. This is the number for your total assets, 42,497. And total equity is equity attributable to owners of the parent, 25. Total equities here, including the non-controlling interest, 25,540. We are calculating the financial leverage for the whole consolidated balance sheet, so it has to be total assets taken with the total equity, including the non-controlling interest. So dividing this 42497 with 25540 will give you 1.6639, which is approximately 1.66. B is the right answer. Now a bigger one. We have been given two companies' balance sheet and the sector average. These are all common sized balance sheet for company A, company B, and the sector average. And let us see what is needed first, and accordingly we look at the data given. It says, based on Exhibit 1, which statement is most likely correct? Company A's liquidity is below average liquidity for the whole sector. Comparing Company A liquidity with the sector average liquidity. This needs some serious computation. It will take time. But let us lay down the working, because there are certain subpart to this question, 31, 32, 33. So we just do working once. It will help us to solve other parts as well. So let us just lay down the workings first. And for that, we need different colored markers. And we have the arrangement for these, taking this one first. Now let us first calculate in a tabular form A, B, and the sector average. First is talking about the liquidity, then solvency, then about the acquisition. Let us read and do each option separately and still save some time for other questions as well. So it says we need to first measure liquidity. Liquidity is measured through three measures, that is cash ratio, quick ratio, and your current ratio. Let us do them all one by one. For Company A, look at this. For Company A, the cash ratio is 5. Let us just mark these and these. This blue will represent your, when we add the account receivables as well, it will give you the quick ratio. It must be given a separate color. Let's say a red one. And then in the current ratio, we will take all. We'll take this black one. Okay, first let's calculate the current ratio, the cash ratio first. That will take 5 plus 5, 10, 5 plus 0, 5, and 7 plus 2, 9. The denominator will be current liability for these 35, 25 and 28. The denominator will remain same for all. So it's going to be 35 for the first one, 25 for the second one. It'll take time, but somehow it will help you manage a question that's more data. Next item we have is the quick ratio given in red. 5, 5, 5, 15. It'll be 15. 5 plus 15, 20. And then 7 plus 2 plus 12 gives you 21. Denominator for this would be same as well. 35, 35 and 35. The last one given in black one is 35 by 35. Current assets 35 in the black color. 35 by 35. 55 by 25. This one is 25, sorry. 25 and this one is 28. 55 by 25. And lastly, it's 48 by. We need this data for the next question also, so we're just taking this specific effort for the other parts as well. Now we have laid down the data. Let us compute these one by one. For company A, the cash ratio 10 by 35 is going to be 0.29. 5 by 25 is 0.20. 9 by 28 is 0.32. Quick ratio 15 by 35 given in red. It's 0.42 if I'm not wrong. 20 by 25 it's 0.80. And the sector average 20 by 28, that's 0.75. The last one, current ratio 35 by 35 is 1 given in black. 55 by 25 it's 55 by 25. Let me calculate 55 by. It's 2.2. And 48 by 28, it's 1.75. Now let us draw the conclusions. Everything we need is here. Company A has below average liquidity risk. Company A has below average liquidity risk. Industry average is 0.32, it has 0.29. 0.75, 0.42. 1.751. All the three liquidity measures, since we were not sure which liquidity measure he is interested in, we have calculated all these three, right? And it is indicating in all these three measures, the liquidity risk for company A is above average. Risk is higher because it has less liquidity in all these three measures, cash, quick as well as current ratio. So this is not the right option. The next option is company B has above average solvency risk. So it's basically company B versus the sector average. So we will use a range of measures. First we will use the total debt ratio. Total debt ratio is basically total debt, that is current and non-current, divided by total debt and equity. So basically it's 55 by 100. So it will give you 0.55. 0.55 for B. And for the sector average, it is going to be 63 by 100. So 63 by 100, that will give you 0.63. Next, we'll use the long-term debt to equity ratio. So for company B, it is going to be 20 by 45. This is your long-term debt, 20 by 45. 20 by 45 will give you 0.44. And for the sector average, it's going to be 28 divided by 37, long-term debt to equity. So it will give you 0.76. So far as we can see, company B has low average risk compared to the sector average, 0.63 versus 0.55, 0.76 over and versus 0.44. So let us try some other ratios as well. Let's take debt to equity. So for debt to equity, the debt is, total debt is 55, equity is 45, so it will give you 1.22. For the sector average, it is 63 divided by 37. It's 1.70. Again, in this ratio, B has low average solvency risk. Let us try the financial leverage also. Financial leverage is equal to total assets divided by total equity. So total assets are 100. We take this number or this it makes. So it's 100 divided by 45. And for the sector average, it's going to be 100 divided by 37. So in this case, again, it is 2.22 versus 2.70. So as you can see, in all these measures, company B has proved to be below average solvency risk than the sector average. So that is wrong as well. It's a wrong option. All right, it says company A has made one or more acquisition. If you just look at the balance sheet of company A, if company A has made an acquisition, it should involve goodwill. If you just look at the non-current side of the non-current assets, there is 25 representing goodwill. This goodwill only arises if company A has acquired a subsidiary B, C, D or any other company. So this goodwill presence in the balance sheet of company A represents that it has made one or more acquisition, because goodwill on the parent is reported as a single number. So it might have acquired many subsidiaries, and a single goodwill is reported, because goodwill on the parent's balance sheet, consolidated balance sheet, is reported as a single number. So this balance sheet single goodwill could be because of many subsidiaries. So company A has made one or more acquisition, and goodwill is the result of those combinations. So that makes C to be the correct option, and we'll discuss it later. Next, the quick ratio for company A is closest to. Quick ratio. Quick ratio will involve just the assets that are easily convertible to cash, excluding the prepayments and inventory for company A. So this is 15. 15 divided by the current liabilities for company is 35. So 15 by 35, straightforward question, it will give you 0.43. Next, based on Exhibit 1, the financial leverage ratio for company B is closest to what? Financial leverage is defined as the total assets divided by total equity for company B. Total assets are given here as 100 and total liabilities as 45. So simplifying this will give you 100 by 45 is 2.22. That will make C to be the correct option. Next, based on Exhibit 1, which ratio indicates lower liquidity risk for company A compared with company B? Now we need that grid which we made up earlier. Alright, this is the grid we calculated for in the previous question. Exhibit 1, which ratio indicates lower liquidity risk for company A. Now look at this. We have three ratios: cash ratio, this is the first one; quick ratio, this is the second one; and current ratio, the third one. So which of these indicate company A showing lower liquidity risk? If you compare these two, A versus B, A has a better cash ratio, quick ratio, this is better for B, and the current ratio is also better for B. So comparing just on cash ratio, just cash versus cash ratio, company A appears to be having lower liquidity risk than company B. So other these ratios, quick ratio and cash ratio, they are not comparatively good. B has a better quick ratio and the current ratio, whereas cash ratio is better for A. So it means compared to A versus B, A has low liquidity risk for cash ratio. That makes A to be the correct option. And that completes your EOC.